Our CASA program here at Hamilton County Juvenile Court is celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and we're all so proud of the accomplishments that have been made and the growth of that program. But more importantly, we're so excited to see how the children that have been touched by CASAs have been so positively affected and are now living productive adult lives. So important to what we do every day, because they can get out into the community and get in the homes of these children and see and hear things that we otherwise may not be able to discover. And that is so important, because ultimately what we want to do is make the absolute best decisions we can. And our CASA reports are always very insightful and helpful in allowing us to do that.
First of all, the CASA program is one of the most important programs we have here, because it allows us as magistrates to get the view of the child and the child's issues raised to the court. I wish we had more CASAs, because I appoint CASAs as many times as I can. It's important to have the voice of the child speaking to us in each of the cases. And usually CASAs are more than willing to do things that other people wouldn't think of to do, to talk to everybody and to get a well-rounded view, of the case, so that the magistrate has a really good idea of what's going on out there. CASA is our eyes and ears outside of the courtroom a lot of times.
We typically appoint CASA in cases where there's a great deal of acrimony between the parties and no middle ground for the court to arrive at a solution that would equitably solve the parties' dilemma. CASA is invaluable for two main purposes. First of all, a source of objective data for the court, such as arrest records and records of mental health for the parties being investigated, as well as an objective record of the parties' contact with the child in the case, as well as an objective evaluation of third parties involved in the case, such as school systems, psychiatrists, social records for the child, and also an investigation of the dynamic between the parties and the child.
Well, I'm Katie, and I'm a court-appointed special advocate, a CASA volunteer for Hamilton County Juvenile Court, because I love kids, and I love talking to kids, I love hanging out with kids, I love trying to figure out what they're thinking and how they're feeling, something that I kind of am good at. And I want to take what's in my heart and give it in a way that is very unique, and that's what CASA gave me the opportunity to do. What I get to do as a CASA is something that Hamilton County Juvenile Court would love to be able to do 100% with every single needy child that comes through the courts, but can't without my help. I am their eyes and ears in the home and with the kid in their environment. The thing that has surprised me and been so gratifying is when a kid figures out what my role is in this whole process, they're surprisingly honest, and I learn very quickly what they want, what that child wants. They'll tell me, here's where I'm comfortable, here's what frightens me, here's what I need. Now, that's not the only thing we take into consideration, but that is important. What the kid wants is so important. I'm the safe adult that they can say it to, without knowing that there will be no punishment, there will be no retribution, there will be no hurt feelings. If they tell me, that's great. I know the judge appreciates the fact that I can go into the kid's home, I can go into their environment, and I can come back and I can tell the judge, here's what I saw, here's what I experienced and what I observed. Now, the judge has to draw his or her own conclusions. That's not my role. My role is simply to say, this is what I saw. And the respect that I've received from the court, Hamilton County Juvenile Court, has meant a lot to me. And I will support this program till the day I die.
Why did I become a CASA? Children have always been a passion of mine. In my teenage years, I met a woman. She was a school guidance counselor. She had the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. She passed away at a very young age. She was survived by 4 children and 32 foster children. She made a difference in this world. She left behind a legacy that is sure to span for generations. In 2008, my husband was murdered. I was left with an 18-year-old and a 5-year-old. It was then that I learned how broken our justice system can be. There was no justice for my husband, for me, or for my children. 2 years later, I had to make the hardest decision of my life: continue fighting for justice, putting all my energy into this dark place, or find peace with it, and put my energy back into being the kind of mother that my children deserved. I had to move on. I reconnected with my high school boyfriend, who now I am very proud to call my husband. I opened a daycare in 2010, but I still felt there was something missing. So rather than subjecting my husband to 32 foster children, I became a CASA. I want to make a difference in this world, one case at a time.
I'm a CASA volunteer because all children have value and their voices count.